Well, as ever, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. It is now just coming up for 1 p.m. I've got about 1 minute until 1 p.m. for the Dental Marketing Club. In the second of our series looking at traffic optimization. So we're looking at all aspects of online marketing for your website, looking at traffic optimization, and we're going to be moving on to looking at conversion optimization in later Facebook live streams. So as ever, you will see me looking around here. That's because I have a mixing deck over here. I have my presentation here and I can see you, and I've got Facebook live on a screen here, so you can feel free to ask questions, to like certain points that I say, and perhaps show faces, thumbs up and things like that with other points that I say as well. It would be really good to see your interactions, to have you taking part, and to really listen to your feedback on some of the points that I am talking about. So as ever with all of these videos, they will remain live on, well, sorry, they won't be live, but they will remain on the Dental Marketing Club Facebook page continuously. What I'm also doing is downloading the videos and putting them onto my YouTube channel. So if you visit YouTube and just search for Mark Oborn on YouTube, you'll see those videos on there. And they go onto the blog on my website. So they're all over the place, these videos. Seem to be, of value to people, and people like them. So let's crack on, shall we? So this is the second part of the Dental Marketing Club. Oh, Happy New Year, by the way. I'm terrible with stuff like that. New Year, Christmas. Happy New Year. This is the first marketing club back in 2018. So Happy New Year to you. So let's get cracking. So we are looking at, in this show, we are looking at traffic optimization, and this is part 2 of 2. So last month in December, we looked at traffic optimization with regards to stuff that you can do with your website itself. So on-site optimization, off-site optimization. This month, we're going to be looking at traffic optimization to your website, but this month using not your website. So using social media, using email marketing, using paid advertising, Facebook and Google, to drive traffic through to your website. And this is relatively high level overview rather than a low level detailed look at each of these, although I will go into a reasonable amount of detail, particularly with social media and email marketing, because I think it's important that you understand why we do those things and what makes those things work. There's also a very direct correlation between traffic optimization and conversion optimization when it comes to social media and email. So social media and email can be used for 2 primary reasons for your marketing. The primary reason, number 1, is traffic optimization, getting traffic to your website. And the other reason, and equally as important really, is conversion optimization. So when people are at your website, social media and email can help those people to convert. So this month, we're looking at social media and email from a traffic point of view, but there is a huge overlap with next month where we're going to start to be looking at them from a conversion optimization point of view. So let's crack on, shall we? This should run through till about 1:45, something like that, give or take. And please feel free to ask questions as we go. So traffic optimization. Let's look at social media to begin with. So social media falls into these absolute golden rules of marketing. And the mnemonic that's often used is AIDA, AIDA, which stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. And the rule really of all marketing, or the goal of all marketing, is to dip into one or all of these areas. So creating attention, making people stop and listen or look, piquing their interest. So once you've grabbed their attention, holding that attention so that they're interested to stay with you, to listen to the message, to read the message, to listen to the message even more, to then create some form of desire from that message. So to get that person to think, well, yeah, actually, this message that I'm listening to does solve a particular problem of mine. And then to create some action out of it. So to get a person to take action once they have listened to your message. So to give you some examples, this is where people like Richard Branson are absolutely fabulous at their marketing. And one of the things that he is really, really good at is creating attention for his business. So he has all of these stunts where he goes around doing, balloon races and planes and all sorts of things like that. And he's really good at getting attention for his business. Now, he is obviously operating at a much higher brand level and isn't always talking about specific products within his brand, but creating attention for your business, drawing attention to your business must absolutely be something that all of your marketing does. Once you've got their attention, you need to create some form of interest. So, for example, I had a practice the other day that said to me, well, I really need I need to get myself into the newspapers. I need to create some more attention for this practice. I need to draw more people in. I need to be able to reach more people. I need more people to see me. So I said, well, I have an absolutely guaranteed surefire way of getting you probably to the front page of your local newspaper to get the maximum attention. Is that something you're interested in? Well, yeah, I'll do that. But okay, take all your clothes off, run around naked, and you will get lots of attention. More than likely end up on the front page of the local newspaper. So the question is, it's not always just about getting attention. It's about getting the right type of attention. And once we've got that person's attention, to create some form of interest. So, for example, the running around naked example would just create attention, would not necessarily create any form of interest, desire, or action that we desired. So creating some form of intention of attention is really important, as is interest and desire and action. And we're going to look at that in a little bit more detail in the next few slides, but this is important to bear in mind. And this is because social media marketing is taking our marketing into a new realm. We used to be into this realm of transactional marketing, and transactional marketing, to be blunt, is give me your money and sod off. I mean, really, that's what transactional marketing is about. And most high street retailers, that's what they're interested in. They just want your money. So purchase their product, then you disappear, and then you might come back at some point later on in the future. But social media marketing can be useful for transactional marketing, but actually, hi Lee, thank you for joining. But social media marketing is particularly useful for relationship marketing, and particularly useful for businesses or industries where relationships are more important than transactions. And this is where I would challenge you to think about your business. What's more important for you? Do you want a single transaction? In other words, do you want your customer, so your patient, if you're a laboratory, if you're a dentist, or the dentist, if you're a laboratory, do you want your customer to just purchase one item from you and sod off? Or, that's a technical term, by the way, or do you want that person to enter into a form of relationship with you? Now, I would argue that most aspects of dentistry, wherever we're positioned within that dental market, we're looking for relationship marketing. We're looking for a relationship. We want a person to stay with us in the long term, particularly for a dentist. We want to help a patient with their dental health. So we want that patient to stay with us in the long term so that we can help improve their dental health as time goes by. So we're looking for relationships. So whenever you use social media, just ask yourself the question, Am I attempting to delve into transactional marketing, buy my product and sod off? Or am I looking at relationship marketing? And is this marketing helping to build a relationship with my customers? That's a very important point. That's the essence of social media marketing, is it's about relationships. So seeing as it's about relationships, let's look a little bit more detail at how relationships build. Now, this is important for social media marketing in general, whether we are using social media to bring traffic to the website, which is what we're talking about here today, or whether we're using social media for conversion optimization to get more people to take action, which is what we're going to be looking at in future presentations. So the relationship building process or structure is taken from, you should be able to see on the screen there, from Harkinson and Snahota, who did a lot of research back into the 90s about how relationships are built, particularly business relationships. And the first step of building a relationship is to create a bond, is to create bonds between the actors, between you and me, between the actors in that relationship, between you and your dentists, between you and your patients, between you and your customers. So actor bonds. If we're going to take a relationship further, there needs to be some form of bond. Being straightforward with you, totally honest, that's one of the major reasons that I've created this dental marketing club, is so that monthly I can sit in front of you and you can look at me and we can start to form a bond between us. I've been perfectly honest, that's one of the reasons I set up this club. So the social media marketing is about generating bonds and securing those bonds and working on those bonds between the actors. And the relationship will not move forwards unless there is some form of bond. And I'm going to come on to that a little bit more in a bit. The next thing we need to look at is activity links. So once there has been some form of connection as a bond, a person will then take the next step and engage in some form of activity with you, which creates a link between those actors. So engaging in an activity creates a link. And again, that's where this dental marketing club forms that more detailed, more in-depth link between us, because we've engaged in that activity together. So engaging in an activity then takes that relationship further. And I'm going to give you examples of these in a minute. And the last step of that relationship is the resource ties. And the resource ties is where you are going to then either commit to spending time with that person or money. And this is an important distinction. So resource ties is at the point of the relationship where we're happy to spend money with one another, or your customer is happy to spend money with you. Your customer will not be happy to spend money with you unless they go through the previous steps first. So this is very definitely a step-by-step process. So social media ceases to work when all we do is go straight for the resource ties and say, spend money with me, spend money with me, spend money with me. That's when social media doesn't work. Social media works when we work on the bonds between the people first. We create bonds. We create some form of activity that we can do together or that you can partake in as a customer. And then the resource ties come in after that. So I'm going to give you some specific examples of these. So actor bonds. We've got things like places you like to visit, hobbies, interests, books you read, films you watch, food you eat, TV programs you like. And I've just put some examples on there. So I'm not going to read that all out to you, but I'll leave that on there on the screen. You can take a screenshot of it, and it will also be in the video as well. And I've also put on here some kind of social media updates that kind of demonstrate those actor bonds. So these are not necessarily clients of mine. So I saw the other day on Twitter that Cathedral Dental had posted a perfect example of creating actor bonds, saying, you know, meet our patient of the week, Roger, Indy's older brother, who's visiting from Australia at the moment. Now, in and of itself, that is not going to create a new patient. That is not a call to action, come and see us because we're the dental practice around. But what it does do is demonstrate that we are a caring practice. We've got the face of a practice. We've got something that we can start to create a bond with. We can, a patient might say, hey, I know someone that's visiting from Australia. They might say, hey, I know someone that's in Australia. They may say, hey, I'm a lawyer. They may say, hey, I like your style of social media update. They may say, hey, I like the way you've got this frame and you've got the person to stand in it. They may say, hey, I like the photographs on the wall behind that person. So it's not looking necessarily for a specific bond between us, but it's got lots of aspects to it that can create a bond. If you look at that picture of me looking at what is directly below me, that picture of me holding my corn on the cob, one of the things I do is I love cooking, I love eating, and I love sharing recipes that I've created, that I've found that are good, and I love talking about food and sharing about food, and it's a great passion of mine. So I very often will put updates about food. And again, that's about creating bonds between people that people can say, yeah, hey, well, I like food as well. And I'm interested in what you're talking about. I also talk about films that I like, books that I'm reading, my motorbike, and all sorts of other interests. This picture down to this side of me is a practice that had a competition and they handed out an Oral-B toothbrush. And they took a photograph of the practice manager and the person receiving the toothbrush. And again, that is creating bonds between people. Excuse me. It's just saying online that we're a friendly, we're a helpful practice, that we're interested in doing things with the local community. And the other one below me, kind of underneath that weird picture of me with the corn on the cob, is a practice in Solihull that's talking to a local business in Solihull called Love Solihull. And this is a tweet that they put out on a Friday saying, follow Friday for Love Solihull for helping us live cleaner, greener and safer lives in Solihull. So that is just engaging with a bond, looking to create a bond between Love Solihull and Solihull Dental Practice. Who knows where that bond will go? At this stage, we don't care. All we're interested in is doing things to create bonds. So this is that act a bond stage of social media. The next stage is activity links. Oh, sorry. What I'll do is I'll just quickly go back. You'll see at the top there where I've put just up here where it says Actabonds 40%. That's the percentage of posts that I think you should be using around these particular areas. So 40% of your posts should be on Actabonds, in my opinion. And it's the same with activity links, 40% of your posts on activity links. And activity links on social media are links that help that person that they can click on to visit another website that has more information that can help them. So British Dental Health Foundation, British Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry, American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry, British Orthodontic Society, various hashtags, oral health, tooth healthy, have streams on social media on Twitter and Facebook that hand out useful, free, relevant dental health advice. Passing that information onto your social media stream firstly demonstrates that you care about your customers, but also is an activity link. I put Social Media Borg at the bottom. That's the software that I've got, and that's the software that I use to seek out relevant content to help. So the point here is to think about your customers and what problems are your customers trying to solve and how can you help them. So I'll give you some examples. I'll give you 3 examples. First example is me as a marketing consultant. My customers are dentists, are dental laboratories. The problems they are trying to solve is attracting new patients or new customers into their business with marketing. So what I do on my social media stream is I share other useful marketing messages from other people. Now, typically, I don't mind sharing stuff from my competition. I'm not bothered. It's about sharing useful information. So I might share information from, a great one is Gary Takacs in America, who shares lots of information about marketing in dentistry. So I'm very happy to share his content because it helps my customers. And it's helping when I help my customers, that we're moving into this activity link stage of the relationship. The relationship takes a step forwards. So to give an example, the second example, that's what I do in my business. The second example for dentists is to say, what are my customers' problems? Your customers' problems are patients looking to replace missing teeth, straighten crooked teeth, have a healthier mouth. So pass on information that enables them to do that. So look at the BDHF, the BACD, the British Orthodontic Society, and pass on their information on your social media streams. And again, it's not going to drive traffic directly to your website, but what it will do at this stage of the relationship is take that relationship just that little bit further. That patient becomes a little bit more engaged with you. And the third example for dental laboratories, same question. What problem are your customers trying to solve? So your customers, dentists, are trying to solve, how do I restore this broken down tooth? How do I replace this missing tooth with an implant? How do I get the best denture? How do I get the best bridge? So look for ways to help that customer and use those types of messages on your social media stream. So you might find a new technique for ceramic layering, or for bonding, or for another company in America that have got some form of 3D CAD/CAM software. Share that information with your customers. At this point in the relationship, it's not going to drive traffic to your website. It's not going to do any other action other than, remember, that person's already gone through the activity bond, so there's a bond between you. It will just take them a step forward in that relationship to creating some form of activity link between you, and that's the key. So that's what these people here have done. If you look at that first one above me, Jay Goldstein, dentist in America. Do you know what causes bad breath? Let's ask the American Dental Association. So what he's done is he's posted this to his followers on social media. He's posted something that the American Dental Association have passed on. At this stage, it's not going to drive traffic to his website, not going to create new patients, but it does take that relationship a step forwards. The next one down here from Revel Dental, poor dental health increases the risk of frailty in older men. They're sharing something from nursingtimes.net. Exactly the same. It's relevant to their customers, but in and of itself, not going to create traffic to the website, not going to create new business, but it does take that step a little bit further forwards. And the same here with the other message below me from Brush Baby. So there's some examples. So we've got Actabonds is the first step, activity links is the second step. And the final step are the resource ties. This is where we're asking people to commit time and or money. So this one down here from Diana Dental, again, these are not necessarily clients, they're just posts that I've seen around the internet. So Diana Dental are saying, another happy Invisalign patient, why don't you pop in and see us, call or email us, there's the email address there, and this is on their social media stream. So this is the final stage of that process where we are asking for that person to commit either time or money. Another one below me here from Ollie and Dash, so I saw this on Instagram. No doubt they've posted it around their other social media streams as well, again, because it's fabulous. Your smiling is investment in yourself, £1,000 off. Then there's a call to action, book your free consultation online today, and there's a web address. So they're using social media at this stage for the resource ties, saying to their customers, commit time and money. But these types of posts won't work if these are the only posts that we do. You have to do the Actabonds, the activity links, as well as this type of post. So that's social media, and it's this last section of types of posts that will create the traffic back to your website. So Diana Dental here haven't used a link to their website. but they may well have done. It could have said, click here to book now. Ollie and Dash, in their advert that they put on Instagram, there is a link through to their website. It's not clickable in this instance. If they had paid for this advert, you could make a clickable link, which is kind of how Instagram make their money. But there is a link there. So you can create traffic back to your website by using social media, but it's in this final stage of the process. And so let's move on. Let's move on to, this is not the be all and end all of social media. We're going to talk more about social media when we look at conversion optimization next month. So email, and I use a system called Aweber. It's $19 a month, plus or minus. I think for that amount of money, for 15 quid a month, it's absolutely brilliant value. And this is an opportunity to engage with your customers and demonstrate that you care about them more than you do about making money. This is not about making money. That is an end result of demonstrating that you care and helping your customers. And this is the same with a lab. If we chase money, we'll find that we just go round and round in circles. If we chase the customer's needs and wants and desires, understand what the customer wants, help that customer to solve their problems, we make money as a result of doing that. And I've found in my business, as soon as I stopped chasing making money and focus on the customer, you actually make more money because you've got more customers that are happier, that spend more. And so what we're going to look at here, this is really, really important. And this is a fundamental to marketing, is understanding the decision-making process, what process a person will go through when they decide to visit your website. And we're going to use email in a multitude of different areas. So we need to go through and you need to understand what the decision-making process that a person is in, what stage they're in when they visit your website, in order to know how to use email, and then how to use email to drive traffic back to your website. And you're going to have to bear with me doing this bit. It will come together in about 3 or 4 slides time where you'll see, aha, okay, now I can see how this is working. But it's really important that you understand this as a fundamental, which is why I'm spending time going through it. So the decision-making process, this always happens whenever we make a purchase. And sometimes it happens like that. It happens in an instant. Sometimes it happens over the course of a few minutes, perhaps when we're in a shop. Perhaps it happens over a course of days or weeks if we're researching, we go backwards and forwards to shopping center. Sometimes it happens over a period of years. I track every interaction that I have with a client or a potential new client, and I've had interactions that have been going on for 7 years. So that client has been deciding for 7 years whether to come to me or not. Very often they go to other places and not happy and end up coming to me in the end anyway. But this decision-making process can take a long time, or it can be instant. So the first stage of any purchase is problem awareness or needs recognition. That customer, that person needs to become aware that they have a problem. If you're a laboratory, that will happen. The dentist will, that will happen for the dentist when they go to fit a crown and it doesn't fit because the contacts are hard, or it doesn't fit because the bite's high, or it just doesn't fit. So that's the point at which the dentist will recognize, aha, I need to use a new laboratory. For a patient, it may be that they're out and they have some food and they get some spinach stuck between their teeth, and it's happened for the last time, and they go, do you know what? This is really getting on my wick now. I really got to sort out this gap. Or it may be that they see something on TV, someone's got a nice smile, they then go to the mirror, they look at themselves and they go, I've got to sort out my teeth, I've got to sort it out. That is that problem awareness, need recognition stage. And we have to go through that. We have to understand that we have a problem, that we had to, a need that needs to be fulfilled in order to make a purchase. We will never make a purchase of anything unless we personally have a problem that needs to be solved. I'm not going to buy a television unless I don't have a television and I want to watch one. There's always a problem that needs to be solved. The next stage is, once we're aware that there's a problem, is an information search. And we can do information searches in lots of different ways. Sometimes we may know of lots of different people. Sometimes we may go online to an information search. And we may do an information search for two things. We may do an information search to look at, how do I solve my problem? So an example could be a patient, I have missing teeth. That information search may be, how can I replace missing teeth? And they're looking for the options. They're looking for bridges, for dentures, for implants. Or that information search can be for a solution provider. So they're looking for lots of different information, how to solve their problem and who they're going to use to solve their problem. The third stage is the evaluation of those alternatives. So they can't evaluate the alternatives to solve that problem unless they've done an information search. Once they've evaluated their alternatives, they will then select an alternative, decide to make a purchase. They make that purchase, so that dentist will then come to use you if you're a laboratory. That patient will come to you to solve the problem. That dentist will come to me to solve a marketing problem. They'll make a purchase, and then there will be a post-purchase evaluation. So there'll be a period of time where that person is looking to evaluate that purchase and say, was that a good decision or not? Understanding that means that we can use email marketing at different stages, depending on where a person is in their thought process when they visit your website, collect their information, then use emails to move them to the next stage and drive them back to your website again. Let me explain in a bit more detail. So we're going to make the assumption that this person has recognized that they have a problem that needs to be solved. They're now in the information search stage. So most people, not everyone, goes to Google. We're looking for, this process happens with any type of marketing, but I'm looking specifically at online marketing. So the person goes to Google and they may search for replacing missing teeth. They may be a step beyond that and say, well, I want implants. They may be searching for dental implants in Taunton or Bridgewater or London or Devon or something like that. So they go to Google first. That's in the information search stage. So what do? They search for this. We are going to appear high in the search results, and we've been talking about how we can get people ranking higher in the search results. If you watch the video from last month, we rank highly. We get a patient to our website. We get a customer to our website. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do to engage them? Remember, this is important here. Remember, they're in the information search stage. They're gathering information. They're not evaluating alternatives at this point. They're not ready to make a purchase. They're not going to search dental implants in London, for example, go straight to a page and go, that's it, on their first attempt. They're going to evaluate the alternatives first. So what do? They search for that search term. They land on your page. And this is where it's called white label marketing or inbound marketing or content marketing. So we then create some useful content for them and we hand it out for free. We're not asking for anything from them apart from their email address. So we put on the website a free information pack. This is an example of one of the ways that we put it on the site. So we put a little photograph of that information pack. We say, download a free information pack. The costs and the lowest price alternatives, your options, choices for treatments, are you suitable for treatments, blah, 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 blah. So we create a free information pack to answer that patient's specific problem at that point. So the question is, what problem is this person trying to solve? So the replacing missing teeth information pack can go on an implants page, a dentist page, a bridges page. We do a cosmetic dentistry one, which goes on cosmetic dentistry, teeth whitening, bonding. We'll do another one on straightening crooked teeth, which goes on veneers, which could go on crowns, which could go on cosmetic dentistry, and we'll obviously go on the orthodontic pages. So we create different free guides. If you're a laboratory, you may have a cosmetic dentistry section of your website. Create a free information pack for a dentist of how to get the best from your laboratory when looking at cosmetic dentistry. Maybe that dentist is looking at CAD/CAM dentistry, create a free information pack, getting the most from computerized and digital dentistry, and so on and so forth. So we create a free information pack. If you look at my website, there's a free information pack on there that you can download. It doesn't cost anything. It's an information pack, and it talks about how to get the most from your online marketing. So they're in the information search stage. When they click on the download now button, it just flicks them through to a little form, and it says, thank you. We just need your name and email address so that we know where to send your information. We ask for their name and email address and click submit. Doing it this way gets a very high subscribe rate. So just having a download now button, flicking them off to a form, put their details in, we get a high subscribe rate. What that then does is drop them into an email marketing program. So let's just grab my highlighter here. So here are our various free guides. So we've got a cosmetic one, a straightening crooked teeth guide, a replacing missing teeth guide, and this particular practice have an oral health guide. They've got a skin section in their clinic, and they have a hair removal section in their clinic. So they are the various free guides that they have. It doesn't matter which one. So which am I showing here? I'm showing the replacing missing teeth guide. So the replacing missing teeth guide, when someone downloads that, they get an immediate email, your guide to everything you need to know about replacing missing teeth. And you can see we get a pretty high open rate, 82%, and we get 67% of those people then go ahead to actually download that guide, which gives us really good metrics and good data. The system then waits for 2 days, sends them another email that talks about how much do dental implants cost. So we can talk about the cost of implants, why do they cost as much as they do, what are the finance options if that's of interest. The system then waits for 3 days and sends them another email. How comfortable are dental implants, and will they hurt? We talk about sedation dentistry, we talk about the wand, we talk about injection techniques, we talk about how to help patients relax. The system then waits for 5 days, sends them another email about dental implants that aren't all about the appearance. So this one is talking about oral health. System waits for 8 days. Now, what I want to just quickly point out here is, have you noticed the interval? 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 8 days. That is the Fibonacci series. So when we look at the golden proportion, we're looking at the ratio between the centrals, the laterals, the canine, between the width of the eyes, the width of the smile of the face, the distance between the centrals and the corner of the smile is the golden proportion, the golden ratio, which is taken from the Fibonacci series of numbers. And it goes throughout our body. If we look at asystole and diastole, or asystolic, systole and diastole of our heartbeat, it falls to the golden proportion. If we look at our fingers, look at the ratio of our knuckles, it goes to the golden proportion. So the golden proportion is everywhere. And the ratio is 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, and so on. So we send these emails out at ever increasing distances and gaps according to the Fibonacci series of numbers. And that has the tendency to make the emails not seem like spam. They're not getting bombarded. They get one immediately, then the system waits for 2 days, then it waits for 3, for 5, then it waits for over a week, then it's waiting for nearly 2 weeks, then it's waiting for nearly 3.5 weeks, and so it goes on. So as soon as someone downloads a guide, we send them emails relevant to their particular concern. And you'll see how this comes together in a moment. And all of these will then be driving patients back to your website. So each of these emails will have a call to action to drive a person back to the next stage in the process. And I'll show some arrows on this at the end. So let's look at the next stage, of the evaluation of alternatives. This is where incentives come in really useful, and we're going to look at this a little bit more detail when we look at conversion optimization. So some form of incentive, if this is where a person is in their decision-making process when they land on your website, an incentive such as a free consultation, a refund of initial assessment, some form of incentive to send work to the laboratory as well. This is where incentives can work really well when a person is looking at the various alternatives. Should I go to this dentist, to this dentist, to this dentist? Having an incentive to go to a dentist on your website will get more patients through the door. And we're going to look at this in much more detail when we look at conversion optimization next time. And the final stage is the purchase, so email marketing. This is where we absolutely must have a request an appointment today. This is where you must have a feedback form on your website. So the final one is post-purchase evaluation, where we're asking patients, would they be happy for us to, or would they be happy to leave a review for us? And again, I'm going to go into more details of this next month. But this is where we're using email marketing to continually drive traffic to your website. When a patient lands on your website, downloads a free guide because they're looking for information search, the emails that we then send out are driving them to the next stage of the process, evaluation of alternatives, where we are offering them some form of incentive. When they've got an incentive, we're then using emails to drive them to the next stage of the process, back to your website to make a purchase. Once they've made a purchase, we're then using email to drive them back to your website for post-purchase evaluation. So all of these links, we're using email to gather information and to drive traffic back to your website. And the more traffic we drive to your website, the more people share it, and that creates optimization, creates inbound links, and you get more traffic back to your site again. Now we're going to go into this in more detail because email is also used to get more conversions. And there's a huge crossover with this and next month. So you'll see a lot of these slides again next month. So that's email. I'm now going to look at, very briefly, paid advertising. And we're going to look at paid advertising on Facebook and Google, because you can use both. Okay, you can use other means and mechanisms as well. You can use LinkedIn, you can use Twitter, you can use Bing. But by far the biggest are Facebook and Google. So I want to go through these two, and I want to give you sort of a compare and contrast against each of the two ways of using paid advertising. So paid advertising on Facebook and Google, you've more than likely seen them on Facebook. They come down the right-hand side of your screen. So they're usually over this side of the screen when you when you're on Facebook. So there you see a column. Sometimes you see them in your stream at the top and you'll see sponsored ad. That's where you see them in Facebook. In Google, when you do a search, they're very often down, again, down the side column of that Google search, and very often across the top of that Google search as well. And you may also see them, if you go to other websites, you'll see adverts from Google on other people's websites as well. So that's where these adverts are being seen. So some important things to understand. If you show adverts on Facebook, it's what we call interruption-based marketing. You are interrupting someone whilst they are doing something else. We're going to come on to Google in a minute. So Facebook, people are primarily using Facebook to engage with their friends, to talk to their friends, to keep up with people, to catch up with people, and we have to interrupt them in the middle of doing that. Facebook adverts can be massively, highly demographically focused and highly geographically focused. So people have a tendency to check into locations on Facebook. So Facebook knows where they are. People will put in where they live on Facebook. So Facebook knows where they are. People put their birthday into Facebook. Even they may hide that birthday from all of their friends, but Facebook knows when their birthday is. Facebook knows if you change your address on Facebook or change your geographical location, the chances are that you have moved. So Facebook will know that you've changed your geographical location recently. If you look at certain pages on Facebook and places that you like or things that you like, so for example, if you like Vogue magazine, Cosmopolitan magazine, Facebook knows the magazines you read. Facebook knows your interests. You may follow, I don't know, Chicken Keeper's Facebook page. So Facebook will know that you like chickens and keeping chickens. So Facebook knows a huge amount of information about you. And as advertisers, we can target that information. If you put into Facebook your job, and I put in there, I'm a company director, someone wants to target company directors, they can target me specifically on Facebook. So Facebook, you can almost say the exact person you want to target and focus on. So I could say, let's say I'm a dental practice and I decide that I want to speak to men who are between the ages of 45 and 65. So their kids are likely going to have grown up. They may have a bit more money. What would they do with that money? They might purchase a Porsche or they might have a Lexus. Perhaps Lexus is a really good one. So let's go for Lexus. So they're men 45 to 65, drive a Lexus. We want to make sure that they're well educated, have got a university degree, and like, I don't know, certain hobbies, perhaps engineering type hobbies or craft hobbies. People that are going to be really interested in the engineering side of things could be fabulous for implants. They could understand the technical and mechanics of implants. We create a series of adverts that talk about the mechanics and technicalities of implants, that drive someone through to a relevant page, that talk about the technical mechanical side of implants, that are focused directly at those type of people. We might say we want to do implants, but we've got a page on our website that's a bit softer, that doesn't talk about the mechanics of it, because we know not everyone's going to like that. We're going to have a page that talks sort of the softer, more lifestyle results. We may decide to go for men and women. We may put in the categories as have families or families with children over a certain age. So we can be very, very specific with Facebook. Almost if you know who your customers are, you can target Facebook very specifically. So we have very highly focused marketing. Facebook tends to lead to relationships with people. So when you show a Facebook ad from your page on Facebook, people can like your Facebook page as a result of seeing that advert, and you can get lots of engagement. People can like on advert, they can share an advert, they can comment on an advert, particularly if your advert asks a question or poses some kind of thought. Patients can comment on it, and of course when they comment, that can then go viral as well, so you can get a double impact from your advert. However, typically I find, just my personal experience, I find comparing the two tend to get a lower conversion rate from Facebook. I'll come on to why in a minute. Google, on the other hand, is solutions-based marketing. So remember, when someone is on Google, they are searching for a solution to a problem. They're either searching to how to solve a problem or they're searching for a solution provider. So people are in problem mode when they're on Google. So we're not having to interrupt them in the middle of doing something else. They are looking for a solution to a problem. You can demographically focus with Google. So people do put their age and gender and geographical location into Google. However, I find it tends to be a bit more unreliable. The reason it can be unreliable is you have people using virtual private networks. So I often use a virtual private network because I don't want Google particularly tracking where I am. So I can pretend to be anywhere in the world. Lots of people do that. Lots of companies use VPNs, virtual private networks. People use all kinds of masking and cloaking mechanisms to hide who they are. So unless you are logged into Google, when you do your search, Google's not going to know exactly who you are and is having to make guesses. Whereas with Facebook, when you show an advert, that person is always logged into Facebook, so Facebook always knows exactly who they are. So Google tends to lead to a less focused marketing. There's much less chance of creating a relationship with Google because there's no social element to that advert typically. However, in my experience, Google tends to get a higher conversion rate. My belief is because it is solutions-based marketing. We're not having to overcome this, oh, well, I'm talking to my friends, go away advert, you're annoying me kind of thing, which you can get with Facebook. Google is customer, solution, problem focused mode, go to Google, do a search, find a result, solve my problem, Bob's your uncle. So I tend to find we get a higher conversion rate with Google adverts. However, what Facebook adverts are very good at is getting conversions. We do still get conversions from Facebook, but creating those online relationships and engagements, driving traffic to the website, which is what this is about, and then getting conversions from there. And if we use good tracking, we can work that out. And this is how we do some of that tracking. So we can use adverts to drive people to relevant parts of your website. So we're not just sending them to anywhere on your website, we're sending them to relevant parts. So we're using Google Analytics and goals. So when someone takes an action, it triggers a goal in analytics. So the information search, they download a guide. Evaluation of alternatives, we have an incentive for them. They want to purchase, we have a request an appointment. Whenever they take one of those actions, it triggers a goal. We can see what triggered that goal. Was it a Google advert? Was it a Facebook advert? Or was it what's called multiple touch? Did they do a Google search and you came up in a high search result, found your website, didn't do anything, then saw a Facebook advert, and it becomes an assisted conversion then. Facebook assists, sends them back to the website. They go, hey, I've already seen this, I've been there before, and then they convert. So adverts can also work, not necessarily to get a first touch point conversion, but to get a conversion later on once that patient or that person has seen your website multiple times. So we must use Google Analytics to put in your goals so that you can measure what's working. And that's why I can say that generally speaking, Google gets higher conversion rates than Facebook, because I track every single advert, every single goal that's triggered. Do they download a guide? Do they request a free consultation? Do they download some form of incentive? Or do they request an appointment? We can see how they ended up at that from what source originally. And this is what is really important, that we're using social, that we're using email, that we're using search, that we're using paid advertising all together. Everything is working together, not one thing on its own. So social is used driving people to your website. When they're on the website, they may download a guide. That's then driving them back to the website. They may then do a search after having downloaded a guide. That's then driving them back to the website. We may pay for an advert that drives them to your website, which may then get them onto Facebook, which may then get them to download a guide on email, which may then drive them back to search to the website. So we're using everything together. This is why if a dentist comes to me and says, Mark, will you just do my social media? The answer generally is no. I do have a very small automated service that does that. But if you want a hands-on, I don't just do social media, because social media on its own, for me, is kind of, it's one part of this puzzle. We have to have everything working together. And as I've said, the money is outside of that circle. If we get that circle working right with the patient or the customer in the middle, we make money as a result of that. So that's it. We've been talking for 53 minutes. Wow, doesn't time fly? Up next is conversion optimization. So we've now spent 2 hours looking at traffic optimization, looking at getting more traffic to your website. Getting more traffic to your website is absolutely pointless if people don't convert. So the next 3 of these webinars, we're going to be looking at getting patients to convert on your website. So the next one is second Thursday of the month, February the 8th. conversion optimization part 1 of 3. We're going to be looking at writing engaging content for your website, looking at calls to action, how to get content for your website, where to put it on your website, and how to use sort of wording and things on your website to get people to take action. So, as ever, thank you so much. I very much look forward to seeing you next week, or next month rather, on Thursday, the 8th of February. Take care, and if you want to post more questions in the comments, please do, and I will get back to you and I will respond as we go. Cheers. Take care.